So tell me, when the time is right, will you be ready for the Nice Guys on Business? Oh yeah. Running a business is hard. Being a business leader is even harder. The Nice Guys bring in top industry pros to help your business prosper in a tough world. Get real advice from real people to get you real results today. Now it's time for the Nice Guys on Business. Here's your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Nice Guy community. So I'm going to give you a little look into the behind the scenes. So I know you guys don't get a chance oftentimes to, if you're listening to the Friday episodes, you certainly get a chance to hear me and Strickland go behind the scenes and do the stuff that we do to make the show come to life week in and week out for the last 8 years, 1,300 plus episodes. But I don't know if I've ever done that on the interview episodes. So I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes look at what I do with each and every episode that comes out that I have somebody sitting in the guest seat. So right now, I am about to bring on Emily Aborn. She is another podcaster. She's got a business of her very own. She has a lot of entrepreneurship experience. And I don't know that she's going to be game for this, but it doesn't really matter because fuck it, it's my show. I'll do what I want to do. So when she comes on, of course, I'm going to tell her what I'm doing. But at the same time, I'm not going to ask permission. I'm just going to tell her this is what we're doing. So because it's my show and I can do anything that I want to, I'm not taking a unilateral stance and this is what I'm doing and damn it, whether she likes it or not, well, I guess I actually am doing that. Yeah, that's not very nice of me. Oh, well. Okay, so I'm going to do it anyway. So Emily is about to come online with us, and I'm going to share with you every step that I do with a guest that comes on here before we actually hop into the interview. There's a couple of minutes of pre-banter that goes on, and the pre-banter for me is a great way for me to not only get technology set up, but to get my guest, in this case Emily, set up properly for the episode. Okay, I'm going to hit pause, and then as soon as she enters the room, we're going to go live, and I'm just going to do it. Okay, because that's what I do. It's only taken me 8 years to figure this part out, so I'm going to do it. Okay, back in a moment. And by the way, if I haven't mentioned this to you, Nice Guy community, Emily does not know that this is what we're doing, and that is completely fine because she's a professional. She is a podcaster. She will understand exactly what we are doing. She feels like right now she feels like she's entering the room like mid-interview. She's like shaking her head. She has no idea what is going on. What's happening, Emily?
What if you can't hear my mic?
I knew. So it's interesting. So let me just tell you what I told my community before you joined in, because I've never done this before. In 8 years of podcasting, I've never done this before. I hit the record button as soon as I connected and gave them hey, I'm going to share with you something I've never done before, which is actually go into the green room, kind of the behind the scenes of what we're doing. I don't fucking know if you're going to come with your microphone ready to roll, but I have a really good feeling, you being a podcaster also, you are probably going to be ready to go.
Fair enough, but we did see my track record with like operating Zoom last time where I'm like, what do you do? First time on Zoom. So
no, Emily, you're awesome. And I loved having you so much over on TurnKey podcast. By the way, Nice Guy community, you can probably go over there. Let me see when that episode airs, if it hasn't aired already, because this is going to air much later. Did it already air, Emily?
Yeah, last month. I remember it was on a Friday because I cleaned my house and listened to it. So
okay, cool. Did my community, did my team send you any email or anything? Oh fuck, God, I have such a tight. Let me tell you why. I mean, I'm not making excuses for my team, but let me tell you why. We are like the cobbler's kids, the shoemaker's kids. We have this amazing system that's designed completely for our clients, and we fucking don't follow our own system.
Trust me, I understand. I write content and mine is often the last to be done.
No worries. And I have so many questions for you, and I'm going to bring you in officially so that we have this. But at the same time, I wanted my community to kind of get like what happens when you actually connect. So Emily just connected with us. I'm going to do the same things I do with Emily, that I do with the rest of the people that are guests that aren't quite as learned or schooled when they come to here. So Emily came, she has her microphone, she's ready to roll. So I probably don't need to do a tech check, do I, Emily? You sound pretty good.
No, but we
And
can test, anyway.
And you hear me okay. Is that an
Yes.
ATR 2100? Is that what you're using?
It is a Samsung Q2U.
Yeah, so it's just like the 2100. It's got both the XLR and the USB-C. I just
Would you like to hear a really quick funny story about the microphone?
Yeah.
When I first got it, I thought I had been recording in a studio, and so I thought it was like cool to have like your microphone like hanging upside down, and
Right.
it came with like an arm. So
Yeah.
I hung mine upside down all the time, and somebody was like, "That's backwards."
Oh, I've done that before. I mean, I haven't done that before. I've done that for my guests before. I'm like, you're not using your microphone properly. It's not that it's upside down, the sound falls out the bottom, but if you're not talking into the right side of the microphone, you're not talking actually into the pickup pattern of the microphone. And in Emily's case, the pickup pattern is on the top of the microphone as opposed to the face of the microphone. And she was fucking up pretty good.
It was a lesson I appreciated because I was like, wow, suddenly my podcast sounds so much better.
I know. It sounds really good. So I'm not going to do a tech check, but I will tell you a little bit about our community, at least for the 5 people that have reached out to us in the last 8 years. Okay. So I'll tell you a little bit about them. Entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, business leaders, and owners tend not to be in the C-suite, but they tend to be in the startup suite. So they're figuring it out. They're probably more like me than a venture capital provided entrepreneur. So they probably are bootstrapped. Everything they've done right from the ground up themselves. In some cases, they've spent $0. In some cases, they've spent a lot of money getting their business started, but it's usually on credit cards. So that's pretty much how they started their business, which I think might be how you started your business too, as a bootstrapped entrepreneur. You have no venture capital going through your business, do you?
Not my current businesses, no.
Wait a minute. Does that mean you had money going through one of your businesses?
Well, I don't think it counts. I don't know what this term venture capital incorporates. But we got, like, for our first business, we got a huge loan that was.
And what's a huge loan? What's a huge loan?
Well, it was not huge. It was
okay. Backpedaling already.
Huge. It was huge. It was huge at the time when I didn't have for example, like something like a mortgage, So it was $100,000.
That is a huge. I mean, it's not like $1 million or $5 million loan, but for a bootstrapped entrepreneur, that's a lot of money. So you borrowed the money. So I still consider that being bootstrapped. It's not like somebody gave you the money and said, "Here, go at it."
Right. No, we borrowed the money. It was for a retail space. So it's a totally different thing. Like, you just need so much more stuff to get started.
All right. So wait, hold it. So Emily Aborn is our guest today. She's been an entrepreneur since the age of 6, and she has experienced both her online businesses and a brick and mortar retail, which she obviously was just talking about. Today, she helps intelligent and motivated women entrepreneurs put their ideas to words through creative social media posts, blogs, emails, web content, and more. She's worked in over 86 industries. Holy shit. That's a lot of industries.
Yeah.
Why am I just reading this for the first time and like amazed by the fact that I'm not surprised that you have done this, because you're awesome all the way around. And I enjoyed talking to you the last time, which is why I had you back. She's the host of She Built This podcast and the Same Community. The key to her success: create a support network and a community that believes in you, allows you to grow, and helps you reach your potential. And I'm excited to chat with her a little bit more today. And you guys have all gotten a little bit of the behind the scenes look at how we put these podcasts together. It's fucking awesome watching the gears all grind to a halt. Emily,
it was a little bit of a roller coaster ride, but
it's okay. We still arrived at the same part. We're about to have a really good conversation.
Yes, I'm here for it.
Yeah, that's your time to contribute. I just had an interview. Have you ever interviewed David Baer? Do you know David?
No. How do you spell his last name? Sometimes
I think it's Baer. There are 2 David Bears. This is the fun David Baer. This isn't like the all business minded David Baer, that real tall dude, real good looking guy. The other guy, my friend, he's a lot smaller and he's a lot more down to earth. I kind of like my David Baer than the other one. I hope the other one doesn't mind, because I had him on the show too. Shit.
I won't say anything.
Well,
but so what happened with David Baer?
So anyway, I forget where I was. Oh, so David Baer and I were having this thank you for keeping me straight. We were having this really cool conversation yesterday. He was on my TurnKey podcast, and he is the episode that just aired before this on Nice Guys. And one of the things that he talked about is him working towards his interview style. And one of the areas that he was working on is his ability to ask questions without asking a question. And, it kind of sounds something like, like this, So Emily, we've had a chance to actually have a couple of conversations together.
I would just say yes.
Yeah. I didn't ask you a question. I just kind of left a gap there. And us as messengers, we tend to want to fill the void with words, And I realized when he shared that with me, I've always been that way.
Interesting. Oh, see, you just did it again.
I just did it, right. I just did it. I don't oftentimes stop to ask the question. I stop to collect my thoughts and get some feedback, not from my guest necessarily, but not necessarily not.
Okay, so we have like opposite approaches. I ask like 6 questions in one. Like I get an idea for a question, and then I'm like, wait, I have 6 more to add to that. Answer them all.
All right, I do that too. And sometimes I remember, and I might have said this to you when we were on TurnKey. My brother had mentioned, my brother who has since passed, unfortunately, a few years ago. He said early on in my podcast reign, when I was doing maybe my first 100 or 200 episodes, and again, it's so funny because I still think of myself as a beginner at 100 or 200 episodes, and most people haven't done more than 20 episodes, and they're like, I'm a pro at this already. I'm like fucking learning, and I'm at 1,300 right now. But he said, hey, what a great episode. And he said, can I give you a little bit of advice that might be nice for an interview-based episode? And I'm like, sure, yeah, I'd love it, because he had a lot of radio experience. He said, would you shut up and let your guest talk?
How's the advice going?
Well, as you can see, if you look at the meter, I've probably done 90% of the talking here, but I am about to shut up because I want to talk about 3 things today. Unless you have something to say first.
No, I was just going to say that was a joke, just so you know.
Oh, no, it's not going well at all. I try to shut up, but I find myself getting in the way a lot of myself.
You're excited. I think it comes across as excitement. So,
well, that's good. Now, as a guest, though, that can't have a chance to talk, don't you feel a little bit shut down, though? Do you ever get that vibe from me that I'm shutting you down, or do you just get like, this guy is like, he is excited?
Just excited. Yep.
That's good. Okay,
but cool. I'm not a person that needs to like fill lots of space with talking. So I hear myself talk.
And as a podcaster, that's usually a challenge. So here's the 3 things I want to talk about, because I was listening to a bunch of your episodes, and I have one personal question about one of the episodes that I was listening to. So I'll give you the 2 first that I want to just chat about during this episode, and then I want to talk about the last one first. Okay. So the one that I want to mention is how we sell matters, because I think that is so important. That was one of your episodes, and I'll put a link in the show notes specifically for that episode, or for all of Emily's episodes. You just go in there and pick the ones that you want. But the ones that really stood out to me that I listened to first, how we sell matters. And I want to talk to Emily about how she sells, because I think she probably deals in like relationship-based selling or community growth selling or long-term selling, and not looking for that, single hit. The second thing I want to talk about is navigating difficult conversations, because I know that, and I've heard you share this in your podcast, you have an indirect nature of being direct with people. You know how to get what you want because you know how to have, even if it's challenging for you, how to have difficult conversations. So I'm curious, and when we get into the meat of that, what that's all about. And then the third thing I want to talk about, and I'm hoping it wasn't an episode about me, but I don't know. Of course, my, what is it? What's it called when my narcissist self thinks, I'm hoping she's not talking about me, when collaborations go awry. So you talk about this guest that you might have had on your show. It wasn't me, right? It wasn't.
No, it was not you.
Okay, good. Because I
won't say who it was ever. I mean, it's happened a couple of times, right? But this time was just extremely pronounced. So.
All right, we're going to talk about that one last. I mean that one first, because I think that one is really interesting. When collaboration's gone awry, so what was the onus behind putting that episode together to begin with, and how fresh was the wound?
Somebody had recommended the guest to me, and I did feel like I did research, and I was like, this is great. This is like a very unpopular opinion, and it's going to be a nice, fresh outtake. Yeah. But what happened in our conversation was just, they expressed something that I truly just cannot put my name on. Like it was about a familial relationship. And I just was like, I can't have this on my podcast.
Wow.
So, and I would have edited it, but then I was listening to the whole thing and I was like, it's just not a good fit. And it was not an easy decision, but these things have happened to me several times. Usually I will say, I think we've talked about this. Usually I will not say anything.
And you couldn't play that off by potentially, and I'm not asking you to put your name on something that you don't truly believe in, but you couldn't play it off by actually putting an intro on the beginning of the episode saying, hey, we're about to get into some controversy on this episode. I want to let you know that the views expressed by this guest are not necessarily my views, but I think it's important to put this out there so you know what kind of fucktards are out there in the world doing this shit.
Two thoughts. One, I have not decided yet for sure.
Oh, okay,
good. Right now it's just kind of like it's still in the brain and it's
Can I do the intro?
Yeah.
Can I do it?
One is just kind of sitting there. And two, I don't ever want that person to listen to it and then think that I didn't, yeah.
Oh, so you didn't have an outward controversy. You just had an inward conflict about an outward controversy.
Right.
Wow. That's tough. How do you deal with that?
I'm not sure yet. Like I said, I might not use it and that would be okay. That's a fine decision to make. I might use it and add my own spin on the introduction. I might use it and edit it heavily. I haven't decided. There's lots of options.
So let's talk about that as it relates to everyone that has a checkbook is not necessarily a good client. Okay,
so
because
agree.
I think that this is important for our community so that we can kind of bring it home to them as not this is one podcaster's challenge to deal with a guest that didn't make a good fit with their message. How do you deal with the person that you think initially would make a good client for you, and even after potentially taking money from them and having the transaction happen, you discover that, what did I just get myself and my company into? Because most of us don't have businesses with 50 people. We're usually me or a small team that's doing something. So talk to my community about doing that. How do you do that?
I had this happen recently. I had a client and it was a good project and we, signed all the paperwork, did all of that. And then I was seeing some red flags that it wasn't actually going to be a good experience. So I reached out. And,
what's a red flag look like?
In this case, it looked like, so I have a pre-client questionnaire that somebody has to fill out, and they didn't have time to fill out my questionnaire.
It's always a flag.
Right.
Are you coachable or uncoachable?
And then I send a sort of, which I've since restructured my process a little bit because I don't want this to happen again. But I send kind of like a brand tone. So here's what your brand voice sounds like. Here's what things sound like. They didn't really understand the purpose of the exercise, and it was redlined. I'm like, that's not what we're doing here.
Oh, she's correcting your document that you sent to her.
Which that's just not the way that the process goes. The process is really are we on the right track? Or are we not on the right track?
Yeah.
It's very black and white. So that's okay. So what I did was I just reached out and I said, I just want to let you know what the purpose of this is. And, if you don't want to move forward with me, I'm happy to kind of put a pause here, or we can restructure it in this way. So I offered just some different options.
Right.
And then that required her to step up and okay, no, I'm really committed in this. I trust you, which was the words we need to hear.
Yes.
And then wanting to move forward. So that's how I encountered that one. Sometimes you are in it and you have to get through to the other side. You just have to do what you committed to do as a service provider and move through the project, deliver on the deliverables, and then walk away. Yeah.
We have, and I'm trying to put this into my world also, because we do have a client that has been with us for several years and has been challenging for a couple of those several years, not at the very beginning, but when she kind of got into the groove, she felt like she could give us a little bit of feedback, and we gladly take the feedback and we want to make the change. What we discovered in making the change that we went through was that gave her license to make more changes. So as soon as we did that, she started throwing all of these other changes at us. And then we started to create and maneuver around her to create a better, what would be a better system for her. And we started getting into this line of work that really isn't even in our zone of genius. And I'm like, I don't want to be doing this. And now this client has been with us for many years, and we've always had this challenge. And I want to, in a gentle way, I want to kind of push back and say, and we have done this. She's not getting it through email. It's like there's a phone call that has to happen, and that's part of one of the other the other topics is how do you have these difficult conversations? I don't want to work for her anymore, and I don't know how to say it because she has been a good client. She just doesn't fit our culture anymore.
So I think that if your process has changed, it is totally fair to say, like, I've done this. I've said, I no longer deliver. I no longer deliver in this way. So my process and what you need don't line up anymore. Like
Yeah.
I've changed my process and it's just not a good fit for you anymore. For example, I had a lot of retainer clients. Like I would work on retainer for people.
Yeah.
And I didn't love it. And so I was like moving to just project only, which I love because I am a person that needs like a start and a finish. Like we must get to the end. I'm happy to keep on doing projects, but I need that like starting line and the finishing line. So I moved all of my retainer clients by simply being like, you know what, like, of course I could still do it. I could still deliver on what they needed, but I just said like my new model doesn't accommodate for this anymore. Here's what it would look like if you wanted to move forward with me with my new model. And they were like, no, thanks.
I like that. I like saying the model thing. I think what happens oftentimes is we get caught in this. We've been delivering and over delivering and exceeding expectations.
Totally.
And then we get to the point where we're not exceeding the expectations. We're just meeting them. And then we're getting to the point where we're getting a complaint from her. And then we're getting to the point where now she's kind of upset. And it's like, I always feel like I'm behind the eight ball and I know what we do well. And I know how to deliver exemplary, beyond expectations service. And the clients that we don't hit it for, I have another client, we have a deadline. It's really simple. We have a deadline of X day. And if we don't hit the deadline, the challenge is it's hard to deliver. But the client continues over and over again to miss their deadline. And so they keep pushing it tighter for us to make our deadline. And I don't know how to deal with this client because this client is a really personable person. And I like this client. And they may even be listening to the show. And it's not that I don't care that they listen to the show, but it's like, what am I supposed to do?
Let me ask you this. What would happen if you did not deliver on your deadline because they did not deliver on their deadline? So in other words, something actually has a ripple effect.
Then it would have a ripple effect. And they would quickly see that, oh my gosh, they can't deliver what they said because it's kind of this person's fault. It's not our fault. It's their fault.
I heard this really sort of like in this under this philosophy. So I heard a really good way to like shut people down from when they're just constantly going to a negative place with conversations. Like it just happens again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
I've always tried to correct them. Like, or, if they're starting to like tear somebody else down, like I've stepped in and been like, let's correct this. I'm gonna tell you, like, let's re-steer the ship. Instead, I just stop talking, or I leave the room, or I say I have to go if I'm on the phone. Like, just stop it. And then they kind of, it's like a pattern that builds in their brain, and they're like, oh, when I do this, they hang up.
Okay, so tell me. Oh, so what you're saying is stop pushing your deadline because what is the expression? Your sense of urgency does not constitute an emergency on my behalf, or something like that.
Exactly. And the more you do it, you're breaking your internal boundaries for one, but you're also like breaking that's like integrity. That's saying this is my word. I need you to hold this deadline. And by going against that, you're like, well, I actually didn't really need you to hold that deadline. I just said I needed you to hold that deadline.
Challenging the problem is I'm also challenging my team, and that makes me feel like I'm not being supportive of my team because I'm not doing any of the editing. I'm not doing the production. I'm not doing the show notes. I'm not doing the posting. I'm not doing the distribution. I can name seven to 10 things that I'm not doing that I'm making my team do in this emergency manner that isn't fair to them, even though it's part of their job. I didn't tell them you're going to have to work under stress and deadlines and tight, it's anxiety producing for me when I receive the message from my client saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to get you this until this. I'm hoping that we can still get it out by then. And it's like, dude, no, I can't anymore.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one more question.
Yeah.
what price increase would that person have to, what price increase would you have to implement for that to be like, okay. And for your anxiety to be worth it?
Okay. So let me say this, which is totally like not normal for me. It's not about the money. I don't want that. It's not, because no matter if this client says to me, I want a 2-hour turnaround, I would say, I don't have the ability, or no matter how much money you'd be willing to pay me, I don't have it. Because you know what would happen, Emily? They would push the 2-hour deadline to 60 minutes.
So I just think there's your answer.
You're right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Okay. I don't need to be right, but
no. I feel
like that is your answer.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Okay, so now we've discovered that collaborations that have gone awry, I was not the cause of that. How do you deal with that from a future business relationship thing? I'm assuming you either don't have a I look at the JV partnerships that I've done, joint venture partnerships where I'm doing joint mailings for everybody, or somebody's doing them for me, and I have 20 people that are my affiliate partners, and of the 20, 16 do jack shit. And it's like, I don't want to deal with those 16 people anymore. I only want to deal with the 4. The problem is you don't know who those 4 are when you get into the relationship. Are those the kind of collaborations that you are talking about going awry, or are you talking about something that just doesn't, either message doesn't jive with your message, or tell me what you're talking about?
In my podcast, I was specifically talking about, yes, messages that don't align with my message, or that maybe it wasn't even valuable to my audience, something along those lines. And I've had somebody come on my show where they think, this is a 90-minute sales pitch, and I'll choose not to use those episodes. And those people, there have been 3 of them. Yeah. They're in my business community. So like, they know I didn't air their episode.
Yeah.
They haven't said anything about it, but if they did, I would either say it didn't fit with my content plan at the time. I still have it, which I do. Or I would say that, yeah, that is what I would say.
Well, that's okay. So then you would say, see topic 3, which Doug was going to talk about, is navigating difficult conversations. How do you begin those conversations? Somebody's in my community, they have a client that either doesn't align with their message, or they don't do the work that they say they're going to do, or they are a service provider and they are not exceeding expectations. How do you have those conversations? What does it sound like for you?
I think I'm a little blunt sometimes. I'm working on that, but I'll give you an example. I recently worked with a website designer, and it was like not going well. Like, she sent me what was supposed to be close to the final draft, and I was like, this is not good. We need to pause. We need to stop. So
were you the end result client, or was a client of yours the end result client, and you were working through this designer through you to an end result client?
I was the end result. So I was getting the website.
Okay, got it.
So I said, like, I had an event in like a couple of days. I needed something to direct people to. So I said, can we just stop right now? I will just put up a landing page for myself, and I'll do it. And then we can pick it back up. And she kind of wrote back and said, like, well, can you give me a list of the edits that you want? And I was like, I don't know where to start.
Right.
So I said
to mention.
Yeah. I just said, like, we need to get on a call and talk this through, because I really don't know where to even begin. I'm not a web designer. Like, I don't know what I'm looking at, Oh,
I love that you said that.
So I wrote back with that, and then it just sort of dissolved, because she didn't want to get on a call with me, and she didn't want to, like,
right. Because she doesn't want, what she is probably thinking is, this isn't a client that fits my culture. This isn't a client that fits. Oh, okay. Right. Because
she said, I'm not a good fit for her.
I'm not
process.
a good fit. And what that means is you want more than I can deliver, not in a negative way, but the clients that appreciate my work in draft 1, 2, or 3 are the ones that typically are like what I do. The ones that give me pushback and start redlining everything that I'm doing are not the ones that fit into. So you are actually on the opposite side of the spectrum for.
I was. And I was the one that called it, I said, like, I'd like to stop, please. Like, I would like to draw the line here, and I don't, we can work something out financially, but I don't want to continue. And so like I said, like, I tend to be more direct, but I think what is important to have a difficult conversation is to get clear on what you feel and what you think, because they can both get mulled up together, and so getting clear on those things will help you to approach that conversation, because feelings are different than what you think, you know? But I think that feelings come into play and you have to express what those are in a lot of instances. And it might take longer than you think. Like sometimes you have to back away from something and sit with it before you just write back and you're like, this is
I know. And the tones of emails, I mean, are really a whole other thing. I can think about a relationship that I have with a service provider right now that is far not exceeding my expectations, far from exceeding my expectations. And I've had a conversation with this service provider already, and they apologized. They realized they weren't stepping up, and they said they'll do better. The challenge, and they even sent me a gift as kind of like a peace offering. Hey, sorry, we realize we're screwing up here. So I realized that they know that they weren't doing it right. It wasn't just, hey, I'm feeling a little bit neglected or abandoned here. They knew that they weren't stepping up, and so they made a promise to correct that. Now, and they changed some of their internal team that was working with our account to make it so that maybe it was the personalities, maybe not, I don't know. They changed it to somebody else on their team, and this person is not doing what they need to do. And it's like, I keep thinking, and I might have mentioned this to you last time, you know, the only common denominator in every failed relationship that I've ever had is me. So I'm like, maybe this is me. Maybe I'm expecting too much.
Oh man.
You know, when you set, here's the next, a clear expectation for what you want, and they say yes, they have just filled out a fucking contract with me. And they said, okay, you want this, where this costs this much amount of money, we'll take it. And then they failed to do it. Like you were about to say something, like what happens there?
I was just having this conversation with a friend on somebody that really failed her expectations. And what she did to approach the situation was say, you know, everybody makes mistakes, but if you don't learn from those mistakes, I can't be your client. And I think that's what's important. Like I'm going to express what I feel and what I think, and it's fine. Like everybody makes mistakes, but if you can't keep that, like if you can't learn from that and move forward with me, then we're not a good fit. I will say I have a really high standard too, but I don't think it's like terribly high when it comes to service providers.
That's
like
what I think.
Yeah,
I'm thinking the same thing. Like return my calls or my emails, or just let me know, hey, I can't get to this, but I am working on it.
Yeah. I strive to be a relatively easy client. So I don't know. I don't know, but that's the other thing. It's like, maybe we're not vetting the people that we choose quite enough. Like, you know, I imagine if I had to guess that you choose, like you like people's personalities and you're like, ooh, yeah, that person. I do that too. I like a lot of people, and I need to stop basing my decisions on like just who I like.
Oh,
you know,
man, don't say that. That's like everything to me. It's like I get a feel for whether I want to make an investment or do something, not based upon the numbers or the track record. It's based upon, can I trust this person? Do I feel comfortable with this person? Does this person come with a long list of people that they have exceeded their expectations? Maybe those other people's expectations were in the shitter. I have no idea. I'm like, I just want a phone call back, or I just want an email saying, hey, I got your message. We're working on it. It might take a little while, but we're working on it. And when I don't get that and I say, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you just touch base with me, even if you don't have the answer, just to say, got your message, we're working on it. And that over and over again, it's just not happening. And it's not like I'm spending $100 on this product. It's $1,000 a month I am spending on this $12,000 a year project. And I want to be serviced the way I feel like I should be, not based upon what they feel like they should be servicing me. It's if you buy into the expectation right out of the gate, that's the one that you have set as, okay, this is the new normal. This is when we're working with Doug. This is what we need to, fulfill. They just haven't done it. And I don't know how to have that difficult conversation with them again, because the next time it's, dude, this is not working out. I'm sorry, we're done.
I think one other question you could bring to them, a question, is say like, do you feel like you are meeting my expectations? You know,
no, when you just ask the question, the answer already.
Right. But that's what I mean. So, and the other thing is like, just because somebody else says that person's great, it doesn't mean it's going to be a good fit for you.
Yes.
I have worked for people time and time again. And I had a good experience and then I refer them and the person has a terrible experience.
Right.
And it's just like, you can't know that, so we have to try and we have to get burned. And I think the only thing I would say about your know, like, and trust, which I do agree with, but it's like know, like, and trust and get it backed by
you're right,
writing samples or whatever you need to make your decision. Like putting a little bit of that back into the equation, I think would be helpful for both of us, because I tend to just like people and then go with it.
I know. I fall in love with people so easily and then they so disappoint me over and over and over again. And again, I just think that part of it is maybe I set an unrealistic expectation when I come up with the expectation conversation. Maybe I should be setting lower expectations, but why would they agree? I'm answering my own question because I'm paying them. Because that's why they would agree, because they want the client. Yeah.
And I do think that not everybody is impeccable with their word. And so those of us who might be more impeccable with our words are more sensitive to that. And it happens quite frequently. And I think it doesn't affect a lot of people, and it affects other people very, very deeply. Maybe it goes back to your childhood.
No doubt. Some level of abandonment. My parents getting divorced when I was 2. No, I mean, this is a wound that I have been working on healing for my entire fucking life. So, okay. Topic number 3. And then I've already held you well beyond what that I told I would hold you. So it's we're 39 minutes into this interview. I know you entered somewhere around at minute 3 or 4. So because I was already full steam ahead. Topic number 3, I want to talk about how we sell matters. And I want to talk about it from the standpoint of how do you find your clients and how do you work them into your sales cycle so people don't feel like they're being sold, which nobody ever wants to feel like they're being sold. So
yeah, that's a great question. A lot of my clients come through my group and my podcast and just relationship building. Like you said at the beginning, lots and lots of referrals. I work with tons of interior designers for some reason. That seems to be like a niche that I really, really like get a lot of.
Creative.
So people that work in that industry tend to refer me a lot. What does it feel like to be sold? I have been asked that question. What does it feel like to be in a situation where you feel like you're being sold and you don't like it? And when I think about the answer to that for myself, which is basically anything pushy or anything that I didn't ask for, I just never want anyone else to have that experience.
Yeah.
So I would never, also, I think we've had this conversation. I would never sell anybody anything that they didn't want. So if they weren't explicitly asking me, like, can you give me a price on these items? I'm not going to do that. In my copy, I don't focus on pain points. Like I tell all of my clients this, I'm like, we can incorporate some pain points. Like that's going to be natural. But what I want you to focus on is the transformation that you're going to offer people. Like show people the path to success. Don't just sit there and like, we see it everywhere. Like marketing around pain works and it gets people to buy, and it leaves you with a lot of regretful buyers, lots and lots of regretful buyers that pressed buy, added it to their cart, and then they sit back and they're like not satisfied at the end. So I try to focus on like positive. I mean, I'm very like invitational, I would say, in my marketing. Like, hey, want to come hang out? This is how, want to be my client for a month? It's super fun, I promise. And they're like, yes. But that's my answer to that. And I loved that episode with Alice because there's so many ways that it shows up in the online marketing space that are so icky and like off-putting, and it's wrong. It's like kind of preying on people's emotions and feelings.
Would you say you sell through your copy the way you sell in real life?
A little bit, but let me tell you actually something I tried to do recently that backfired on me.
Oh, okay. This is good.
Okay.
I like when we talk about failed stories.
So I speak to this woman on my podcast. Her name is Lisa Dad, and she talks about soul sales, which is like finding your sales archetype. And I was trying some different ones on for size because I still am kind of torn between a couple. So I was trying to be a helper. And so I responded to a lead and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know that if you have decided not to go with me, like I'm happy to refer you to one of my colleagues. I was trying to help her, right?
Yeah, I got
okay.
it. I got
And
it.
I was like, I just want to make sure that you get this project taken care of on your timeline. So
That's
she
putting
writes back.
that's putting that seems like it's putting a sign on your back saying take advantage of my wisdom.
Basically, she writes back and says, "Oh, I wish your business all the success, but I actually went with someone $15, like $15 less." And she repeated again, like, "If I hear anybody that would be a good fit, I'll send them your way." And in my mind, I was like, why didn't I just go with what I always go with, which is like, I'm booked, and if you want to get on my calendar, this is your last chance.
Right.
Or trying to tell them like a story of success or something like that. Like these are usually the ways I do it. And I tried to be like helpful, and it made me feel like you poor, it was the business equivalent of like, bless your heart, And I was like, I will not do that again.
Well, that's all right. But the only person that knew the difference between the outcome was it was you. And it was because she still wasn't going to buy from you. You now just got an honest answer of why she wasn't going to buy. So instead of you sending the email to her saying, hey, look, I have one spot left available. If you want in, come on in. And she would have said either not responded or said, I went with somebody else. Instead, you put yourself in a position to learn exactly why she didn't go with you. And you found out what a pathetic reason not to go. $15. Well, what $15 in the scheme of what is it in the scheme of what? $1,000 or in the scheme of, what's the like if you were to say, hey, it was a $30 service, I say $15, that would be half price. But if it was a $1,000 service and you say $15, it would have been like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it turned out to be, it was like a total of like 45 off the, like it was like a per thing. So yeah. Anyway,
right.
It just taught me a lot about like,
yes,
that when you do, okay, my point in all of that, when you do know what your selling style is, you don't need to get out of that comfortable spot of it's already uncomfortable enough to sell. It is already so uncomfortable to sell. So like when you find what works for you, you don't need to like, do what the marketers are doing or sell how this person is telling you to. Just do what works for you. And if you haven't found that yet, I would highly encourage you to like check out some of these selling archetypes and like different ways to sell, because there's a lot of power in like just standing in who you are and selling from that place. It's so much more authentic and genuine. And the person on the other end is like, yeah, I can trust this person because they are themselves.
I never found that the selling cycle, when you get into actually the sales conversations, I'm never having a challenging time with that. Where I really have my biggest challenges in the marketing side of things, the beginning phases of that relationship, where I'm trying to convert someone that doesn't know who I am to someone that just trusts me a little bit. Just enough to have the conversation, but I never know in which direction the conversation is going to go, especially a lot of those prospecting conversations. The prospect gives this as an opportunity for them to try to sell me something too. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. This is just a bad conversation to have, which is why I have a podcast to begin with, because it gives me the chance to actually get to know somebody a little bit deeper and try to figure out if I want to have them as a client or not. I'm not looking for somebody to become a client because I want to buy what they have.
I think your podcast also gives your audience a good understanding of who you are and what you do. And you get the chance to repeat that message every single week. So there's value in that too.
Yeah, I agree. Well,
so you have found what works.
I do. I mean, I have found what works for me. I mean, I've been selling, I'm 107 years old, so I've been selling for 100 years pretty much. So I feel comfortable in what I do. I really do think it's not the sales process that I'm challenged with. It's the marketing to get to, I got to get more people into the sales process rather than more people I need more people in my funnel, not my funnel. Like, I don't want a formal funnel. I just don't. I've tried to work through this process before. I don't like it. My girlfriend always says, you don't think you have a funnel. You actually do have a funnel, and you're probably really good at your funnel. Your funnel is just not well defined. I don't have a specific, let's start with 5 ways to make money podcasting, or 4 ways to convert your audience to loyal customers, or any of that into like the next step, into the small buy, into the, whatever you call it, what is it called? It's called the tripwire. What the fuck?
The tripwire. So I'm not going to give you a ton of advice right now, but I think
you feel I'm very vulnerable, don't you?
No. I think you need to add more Doug into what you do. So for example, I'm in your funnel. And I think that your emails lack.
Oh, somebody fucking wrote all that. Yeah, I didn't write that.
You don't need to have written it. It still lacks you. It's still, even if somebody else is taking it, they should be able to find your voice, find your words, find your personality. And it just, for me, it's like lacking a little bit of that. So that's all. And that's not a indictment on that person because it's well written.
Totally fine.
It's
Indict.
Copy.
It's way too long. It's way too long, in my opinion.
Simply a reminder that like people are doing business with people and people want to know who you are. And that's going to build that trust more because by the time they're having 3 podcast episodes with you, I still am not quite sure who you are. So I want to know who that person is. So that's all. That's my only content tip.
Wait, say that one more time. That last part, I think that it was about to hit me in a right spot. So say you said something about by the time they have 3 podcast episodes with you, are you talking about you or are you talking about something else?
Like I've had 3 episodes with you now and I'm still like, I'm not quite sure who he is yet. So,
okay. So tell me what that means. So are you saying that to mean, hey, if I don't know what it's like after having 3 episodes with you, then how is somebody that you're sending this copy to know who you are? Because you haven't told them actually who you are at all in these emails.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you fix that?
You probably need to rewrite some of your emails.
No doubt. Oh, I forgot to tell you this. I'm not doing any of that.
Okay.
So I don't do that. I will hire somebody to do that because I don't want to do that because I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
That's the worst part.
And I think it's you look at the origin of your funnel. So that tripwire, like what is that? And is it really the right fit for the person that you want to lead on the journey? I don't know the answer to that because I can't even remember what it was.
That's okay.
I just signed up because I met you, but that's something to think about too. Like I'm not really a person that's ever going to watch a mini course or videos. So
that's cool. That's good.
Videos are part of it. I'll be like, okay, I'll skip that and learn about them in the email sequence. So that's my whole.
That's so funny you say that because most people that I have spoken to are like, oh no, you need to have videos because I'm not going to read your emails. It's like, no, I hate emails. I don't even read emails. If you have any more than 3 sentences on an email, I'm going to read the first 2, then I'm going to read the last sentence.
See, I mean, that's the difference between a writer and
100%. Wow. We have learned a lot about this stuff today. Nice Guy Community. Can we give Emily a round of applause?
Oh, thank you. I don't know what we talked about, but I hope it was good.
Emily, so this was great. This for me was really good. You gave me therapy and you gave me a lot of coaching today. And isn't that why you were here? What were you here for?
I think I was here for that reason.
So for those in our community that just kind of like the vibe that Emily had just created, not just between me and Emily, but between Emily and you, if you feel like the stuff that she was talking about, that she is the right personality fit for you, because oftentimes this Nice Guy episode, these are oftentimes personality tests, kind of like Rorschach, but Doug Shack, it's like that. So if you feel like Emily, the vibe that she created was the right one as someone that you would find yourself working closer with, I would reach out to Emily. But she's got this thing that's called the Marketing Momentum Lab. Is that what it is? Okay, cool. So all you need to do is go to emilyaborn.com/marketing momentum lab. Wow, that's creative right there. We'll put a link in the show notes because fucking you guys don't know how to spell anyway. So I'll make sure that you guys have it right there in the show notes. Just go there, click the link, find out all about Emily's Marketing Momentum Lab. What's in there if they do click, by the way?
Oh, that's fun. So I didn't know what you were going to be sharing just then. But it is a 6-week program where we go through like all of the aspects of visibility, from content creation to collaborations to connection, all sorts of fun things. So I would love to have people. I'm starting a wait list actually for 2023. So.
Oh, very cool. When is the next, what is it called? The next, what the hell are those called when you have
launches?
Not a launch, but it's like when you have not continuum. It's something like that. It's that word. You have the next, it's like a group of people that
cohort.
When is the next cohort of that?
The next cohort will either be in January or February. I have a couple people on the list right now. So,
well, let me see when this episode actually comes out. I think we're close to that right now. This episode comes out December 26th. You are the day after. You are in the best week possible. It's the week that everybody is home. Is that your birthday?
And no, it's Boxing Day, which is so exciting. It's like the day of like eating and drinking.
Are you
after
Canadian?
Christmas. No, I'm not. But my Actually, I am, but my brother.
Wait a minute. How are
yes,
you? You either
yes.
are or you're not. What are you?
I am French Canadian, but my brother-in-law is British, and we often go there for Christmas, and then they celebrate Boxing Day.
If you're French Canadian, do you know Celine Dion?
You know what? We don't all like. We're probably related. I'm sure we're related.
What do you think of her
don't know.
residency in Vegas? Is it still going on? Do you know everything about her? I really wanted to, I've always, my entire life, I wanted to see Celine Dion. I actually, every time I say the word love, I don't say love, I just say love. That's all I say. I walk around my house and I tell my girlfriend, I love you, because I want to be Celine. I mean, I want to sing like her, but.
I mean, you can try. But
no, I totally can't try to sing like her. Do you know anything about her at all?
Yes, I know that she's the one that sang on Titanic, and I used to be obsessed. I used to be obsessed with her music when I was young. I don't remember when Titanic came out, but I can't. I haven't listened to her very much since.
She's so good. She
is good. I need to get back into that.
You really do. Well, being French Canadian, I think it's a prerequisite.
My soul sister.
You're totally your soul sister. All right. So Nice Guy Community, again, Marketing Momentum Lab. Just go over to our show notes and click the link. You'll have access to it, which is all of that stuff that Emily just covered. Thank you, Emily, for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Nice Guy Community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Emily Aborn. All of her information, including access to her program, will be right there in the show notes. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here. So typical, I'm not going to hit stop because at the beginning I gave them the behind the scenes look, and I'm just going to continue that right now. How was that for you, Emily? Was that good?
That was a roller coaster ride. I was like, I don't know what's happening here, but this is fun.
Is there anything that you think that you said that we want to edit out? I mean, keep in mind you're being recorded right now. So.
No, I think I don't think I say names, and I think I think it's fine.
Okay. And if I hit stop record right now, would we have anything else to talk about?
Probably.
Okay, let me stop recording. She's probably going to tell me some things I shouldn't have done. Okay, hold on. Okay, Nice Guy Community. See you later. Bye.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. Fill up your week with the nice guys. Haven't they run out of people willing to talk to them yet?